All right, and everyone's muted?
I will mute everybody right now. So you'll have to unmute yourself. Wait a minute.
I see I'm a co-host and I'm not muted.
Hang on, something's going on here with I don't know why you're not muted.
You can always mute yourself, Mary.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay, Andrew, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let me highlight you or spotlight you.
Okay.
Where did you go? Let me find you. There you are. Okay, hang on. Okay.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to another genre event. This month of April has historical stories that I'm really looking forward to. We have 7 tellers from different SWAT groups around California, and I'm looking forward to hearing all of them. I've heard some of them before, and this is going to be an outstanding evening. Our first storyteller is from the Motherlode Storytelling Guild up in the Sierras, up around Sonora. And his name is Richard Parhani, and he is a board member of the Motherlode Storytelling Guild. And I found something interesting about him that I share is that he's been a river guide. He's been a river guide in that area, but in New Guinea and throughout the world. He's a retired teacher, and he enjoys improv theater. So he had been involved with the Asian American Museum in San Francisco. So please give a warm welcome to Richard.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I am here to present the story of Manjiro, who was a true life character from 1840s on. And I will assume his persona for this. I would like to thank you for rescuing me and allowing me to live back in Japan. I understand that when we are taken away from our home island, it is upon penalty of death because our nation has been closed to the rest of the world for many hundreds of years. When I was 14, I went fishing with some fellow fishermen I had just met on the beach at USA after walking several days to that beach from my family home, where I was the breadwinner. My father had died. My older brother was not well, and so it was for me to become the family breadwinner or fisherman. And so in my 14th year, I decided I should go down the coast farther than I had before to seek a better way of earning a living for my family. I met 4 other men, 3 brothers and a friend, and they were able to borrow a fishing boat from someone on the coast. And we set off in January, year of the ox. And the first day we went out offshore and caught a few fish and ate some for dinner. And the next day we sailed out farther from shore, but we were not used to leaving sight of land. That was how all fishermen operated. But the third day, as we joined other boats in the fishing grounds, a very big storm came, a typhoon. And it turned out none of us were that prepared. We were not that schooled in fishing. And the storm took us over and it swept us out to sea farther and farther. We realized our boat was not that sturdy a craft, and we lost our rudder and our oars were broken. The rain was torrential and we did everything we could just to keep afloat. And after a few very difficult days, we found ourselves about the 6th day out, far out to sea, no sight of land. And we did not have enough food or water in this open boat. So we had to try our best to catch some of the rain with our sail. And then we saw a speck off in the distance, and it was an island. And we worked our way to that island and were lucky to find a beach. And we decided we are very, very close to death anyway. Why don't we go to this beach and throw ourselves in the ocean and end this misery? But when we got there, we were able to swim toward the beach, and a huge wave came up behind us and tossed our boat and onto us. And by some grace, we were able to survive, but for one of us broke his leg. And so we were on this beach, and we decided, because we had been saved by this wave and we were alive on the beach, why don't we try to survive? And so we spent 6 months there, eating birds that we could not cook, trying to catch fish that were abundant, but we only had a few fish spears left that were soon broken off. So we began to starve again. But in the 6th month, a huge ship appeared on the horizon, and we watched and wondered who it was. We had never seen such a large ship. And soon 2 little boats came off that ship and came toward us. And as they approached us, we could see these men with very long hair and hair on their face. And some, their skin was as black as coal, and others, their skin was as white as the beach. And so we were full of fear. We didn't know what would be done with us, but they came and gestured to us, told us we should swim out by motioning, and so we did, and they rescued us. And that was a whaling ship that Captain William Whitfield was the master and captain, and he saved us. And in a few months of sailing and whaling, we were taken to the Sandwich Islands, which later were known as Hawaii. And at that point, the captain asked if I would stay with the ship. He apparently thought I was eager to learn and of a good disposition. And so I agreed. And so I left with him and left my companions at home on Hawaii and went off to the East Coast and learned to read and write in English, learned to be a navigator, learned to be a whaler. And I went off whaling, but always I wanted to get back to my mother and my siblings. And it took many years. And after being a whaler for a while, I realized there must be another way to get money enough to go back. And then there was a thing called the gold rush that happened. And because I was a sailor and a whaler, and I'd learned to make barrels and navigate, I had been able to earn my keep, and I bought passage over to California. And I got to Sacramento through San Francisco. And I went up and I started becoming a gold miner. And most of my companions would not stop looking for gold. Once I found enough to be about $600, that was enough for me to get back home.
And
So I stopped and went
start
back to
the
San
video.
Francisco.
Okay. All right.
And off I went. It took a long time to get to the San Francisco wharf again, and a longer time to find a ship going out to Hawaii to get myself back home. But I did. There was a lumber ship taking the Redwood out to Hawaii. So I bought passage, and for the first time, I was a passenger on a ship. And I got to Hawaii, and 3 of my companions were still there, and 2 of them agreed to try to come back. And so we found a little boat I could buy on the beach. I called it the Adventurer. We put it on another ship, and the captain took us out to Japan, which was still closed, as you know, and let us try our way back home in this little boat. And we did that, washed up on the beach. The villagers were afraid of us, but then accepted us. And then we began the interrogations, of which I'm hoping this is the last one. So please listen to our story. Let us teach you what we have found out, and may our future be bright. Thank you. And I will mute. Thank you.
I love the idea of the mask and taking us back in history to a real person. It was very, very fascinating. Thank you so much. Okay, our next, oh, what is that? Oh, it's like a big tusk or tooth. What do you have there, Richard? Were you showing us? All right.
This is actually a sperm whale tooth that my parents and I lived in the Galapagos and actually found